Here's how to set up for the Hamburger project. I'm going to go to Create New. This project is going to be in print mode, which makes sure that this CMYK and the raster effects are set to high. And I'm going to go to letter signs. Well, actually, I can just go to inches. Make sure it's 8.5 by 11. It can be either horizontal or vertical. If you want a tall hamburger, then you might want it vertical or portrait mode. If you want, I don't know, if you want to do something else, you can go horizontal. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to click on Create. And I have a new page. Go to Properties. It's for fun. Layers. Okay, before we go to that, I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to go to Swatches. And when I bring up the Swatches palette, I see that there's a whole bunch of colors in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the options for the Swatches palette, select all unused, and I'm going to hit the trash can and just delete all of those. I'm also going to go ahead and just delete that folder because we don't need that. We just have things all the way cleaned up there. I'm going to go to my layers palette. Layers. Just a second. Workspace, essentials, reset essentials. Okay, so this will be what you'll see when you look. Go to the layers palette. First layer I'm going to change the name to background. And I'm going to create a table for mine. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to get rid of my stroke on that. And I need a color, fill color. I go to my fill colors. I don't have any swatches, so I'm going to go to here. You see that CMYK color. Let's see. I can also use the picker down here. I guess I'll pick a color that's kind of like that. You can also adjust the colors up there. And drag that over there. Right. I'm going to go back to my window. Swatches. So I've got this color picked here. I want to make a swatch out of it. I go down to New Swatch, click on there. I make sure that global color is turned on. In this case, in this class, in this project, we're going to use global color, which means that if I change this color in one place on the artwork, that it'll change the color everywhere that it got used. I'm going to click OK. So now I have a chip, a global chip, and it's got that little white corner on it, which tells me that it's a global chip. Next, I'm going to create a new color and maybe make that a little bit like that. Maybe add a little bit of black. Click OK. And that's that. And then I'm going to create my table. Pen tool. Now, the angle this would be at is going to depend on the perspective on your hamburger. Click OK, another global color. So that's what I'm doing for mine. This is basically the table surface, and then there's a wall and another wall. I can make it a little bit more interesting if I do maybe that. Maybe then it becomes clearer that it's not the floor that I'm putting the hamburger on. Since the light's there, if we created shadows, the highlights would be on this side of the hamburger and the shadows would be on that side of the hamburger, but we're not going to worry about that for the moment. And then I'm going to create a new layer. And that layer is going to be bottom bun. And create the bottom bun, I'm going to go to the ellipse tool. I'm going to drag myself an ellipse. Well, actually, somebody said, why would you be putting the hamburger directly on the table? So I'm going to change my mind, and instead of calling this bottom bun, I'm going to call it plate. And I'm going to make it white. Or maybe light gray. Command copy, command front gives me another piece like that, and I'm going to do that in white. So now I have something like a plate. If I want a shadow, then what I can do is edit copy, edit paste in back, and then I'm going to go like that. I'm getting too fancy here, but I can go to properties and I can go to opacity and I can tell it to multiply. And then I get a little bit of a shadow, and I can always sort of do something like that. And that gives me shadow, and I might even want to. Okay, so got a plate, layer, create a new layer, bottom bun. And I'm going to actually, best is if I take this, command copy, command F for front, and make it like that. So bottom bun just happens to be the same color as that. And then what I can do is I'm going to go to edit copy, edit paste in back again, and I'm going to just take this and bring it down like that, stretch it out a little bit, and now I want a new swatch, and I'm going to make it darker. Oop, I'm going to cancel that because in fact what I was doing was I was editing that swatch, which I don't want to do. So I want a new swatch. and pick a color like that and maybe make it just a little bit browner. Click OK. There's my bottom bun. To get it to be really correct looking, I would go up here and I want to move this point there, and I'm going to drag this handle down like that. And then go over here, move this point up till it intersects, and then drag that handle down. And now I've got the bottom bun. And then if I want to add, say I want to add ketchup, I can okay, new swatch, red. I'll make it just bright red for the moment, maybe like that. And it's gotten, okay, it's somehow in the background. So I'm going to create a new layer, move it up to there. If I click here, I can move the layer above the other layers. Double click. Ketchup. And I could give this ketchup some highlights to make it look like it's more than just a flat thing. If I go like that, and like that, and like that, I can give it a, let's see, new swatch. Like that. And instead of filling, I can stroke it. And I can tell that stroke to have a round edge. And I'm gonna try to make that follow a little better. Go back to my pen tool and I'll make another one. Hit A to release, or P to just start back with the pen tool again. A. And if I step back, then I look like I have a little bit of depth on that ketchup. Okay, and so those are on ketchup and so on. And so just for, to repeat what I did over here before. So I can take, that's what happened. I need to select that and select that, and they need to be moved up onto bottom bun. So when you select something, it highlights a little square over here on the right side of the layers palette, and you can use that to move things from layer to layer. So I've got, and now I've got ketchup. And then I can move the layers up and down by grabbing the image and moving it up. So now it's on top of the ketchup, then it's below the ketchup, and then it's below the plate. Okay, so we can move objects from layer to layer by grabbing their the highlighted. See if that was highlighted. I can move that up there, and then suddenly I've got ketchup on a plate. Move it back down onto its proper layer. So we can move items from layer to layer, and we can move items layers up and down. And also, just to let you know, underneath, if we click these down arrows, we can see that all the various parts of an object are here, are actually listed. There'll be 4 there, 4 paths. If I click an item, you'll notice that it gets highlighted here, but I could also click an item here, and you can see over there that I can also select items this way. So if you're having trouble selecting an item, that's a good way to, it's potentially a good way to just open up your palettes and select an object. Plus, once you get done with the layer, you can, there is a locking mechanism between the eyeball and this little color swatch here. So you can lock everything, and now I can't, you'll see that I can't actually select anything. And then if, okay, these colors here indicate the color when we select something. So if I go to the bun and select it, you'll see it's green. If for some reason you don't like that color, you can double click on the layer, and there's a swatch right here, and I can change the color of I can change the color. So if I wanted that to be blue, maybe there, click OK. And now I'm not, okay, like that. And so now when I click OK, now it's blue when that's highlighted. And sometimes that's handy because a layer might come up yellow and you're dealing with a yellow object on a yellow background, and you might want to have it red or something. So that should give you a start. From there you would, one more thing. So say I want to put cheese on here. I'm going to put, right, let's create a new layer. Select that, create a new layer, call it cheese. So this is pretty stiff cheese. So here's a piece of cheese, maybe Munster. If I want this cheese to look like it has an edge, there's a couple of ways that I can do this. I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to zoom in. if I select this front point, it actually selects the lines on either side. So I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste in Front. And now I have a copy of those two edges. I can then take my pen tool, click here, hold my Shift key and click down a little farther. Click here, and click there. I'm going to make that just a little smaller. And then I can create a new swatch. And I'm going to add a little bit of orange to it. Click OK. It's maybe not quite right. So maybe half that. Maybe a little of that. Preview. That's better. Though actually, well, click OK. If I was going to go back to my shadow issue, I can go to scissors tool. I can cut there and I can cut there. This actually would be, I'm going to go to that, new swatch, and I'm going to crank that back down like that. Click OK. And then the outside would be a little bit lighter because theoretically I've got some light hitting it from that side. Okay, and so there's my cheese. And it would be a good idea maybe to group these. So I can select across all of them. I can do that because I've locked all the other layers. And I can go to Object, Group. And now this will all go together, and then I can move the cheese around. Some of you had actually made your cheese look like it was melting. If I want to do that, then maybe I could take my pen tool, click and click and click and click. Oops. I'm going to move that over that way, a couple of clicks, and that way a couple of clicks so I can get here. Come on. Take those couple of clicks back. I'm hitting the plus key on the keyboard. That gives me it turns this to a plus point tool, that like that. And then I'm going to go back here, hit plus, hit plus. And I've got a little bit of a bend. And I could, in fact, grab all of these points and do that. And then I can go back here, of course, and go plus, plus, plus. And then plus. Select all of those, Command Z. I've got to be a little bit careful because what's happening is if I don't so something like that, then you've got sort of bent curves on your cheese. This will be much easier. Plus, plus, A, down. Then over here, plus, plus, A, plus, plus, A, select all, bend down. And now you look like you have a piece of cheese that's melted. So another little technique. Okay. So that should at least get you started on your hamburger. And give you a place to start. And remember, so you want to have 12 layers, 1 layer for each condiment. You want to have you want to delete all your chips, and you want to have a whole new set of chips that are global. You want to make sure that this is CMYK. And finally, I'm going to save as, or I'm going to save this file, and I'm going to call it hamburger underscore nettles like that, not an hamburger, a hamburger, and like that, and save. And remember that you will submit this file as an AI file, not as, say, a JPEG or something else. Okay, thank you.